Clarence showed the TV to the store owner. He was intrigued. He set it down on his workbench and plugged it in. The picture tube slowly came to life. He offered to buy it on the spot. Afterward, Clarence and Mary went for a stroll. It was a golden autumn afternoon. They walked till they came to the edge of town. The sidewalk ended at a little park with a stone bench. They sat for a while and watched a stand of poplars on the other side of the park, shedding leaves into the wind. The land beyond the town was brown and empty. As the afternoon faded, a few remote lights began glimmering in the hills. Clarence asked Mary where, if she could pick any place they'd been, she'd like to settle down for good. She answered immediately. Afterward, she would never admit whether this was really where she wanted to go, or whether she was just saying it because she knew it would please him. The Florida Keys. They left town a couple days later. As they headed off down the main street toward the interstate, they passed the appliance store. Their TV was now given pride of place in the window. There was a big sign that read, "This Zenith TV has peanut butter and jelly inside it, and it still works." Clarence and Mary bought a house on Big Pine Key, one of the larger islands in the chain. The Keys were still sparsely settled then. Many islets were untouched, and a few seemed barely even observed. But Big Pine Key did have some signs of human occupancy. There was a little cluster of houses and commercial buildings near the main highway that passed for a town. There was even a post office and a general store. The house that Clarence and Mary found was on the beach, down a dirt road off the main highway. It was a hot, windy, sun-dazzled spot. Only a few other houses were within walking distance. The most prominent local landmark was a canal down the shoreline where alligators congregated to sun themselves. Just as soon as Clarence and Mary were settled in, they resumed their old routine. Clarence got up before dawn each day and went out fishing in a little outboard boat. Mary would find a picturesque spot, of which there was no shortage, where she could work on her paintings. As she explored, she grew fascinated by all the things that washed up on the beaches, the stones and shells, the drift glass and driftwood. She started collecting the odder pieces of driftwood, and then she got the idea to paint on them. She did a whole series of little paintings, of fishing boats silhouetted against tropical sunsets, and pelicans perched on battered old piers. Every few months, she'd go into Key West and sell her latest work at art fairs. The driftwood paintings were an immediate hit. She sold them all in a couple of hours. After that, she gave up painting on canvas and collected all the driftwood she could find. Pretty soon she started running out. She'd scoured all the beaches on the Key and had to venture to the other keys to find more. She decided it would be easier to make her own. So she set up a big tub of salt water in her backyard, filled it with pieces of wooden crates that she'd smashed up with an axe, and soaked them until they looked like they might have been tumbling around in the groundswell for years. One winter, my parents and I went to Big Pine Key for a visit. Mary proved to be flourishing. She was relaxed, tanned, and cheerful, with little trace left of her old waspishness. She had become a big local success as a painter. She sold every driftwood painting she made. People all over the Keys recognized her, and she'd been written up once in the Key West newspaper. She was friends with everybody on Big Pine Key. Her best friends were a retired military couple who lived down the shore in a new beach house. Mary liked to walk over there in the afternoons to play cards and argue about Nixon and Vietnam. Mary, like the rest of that generation of the family, was a fierce, lifelong Democrat. Clarence wasn't doing as well. He was just as tanned as Mary, but somehow his skin looked pasty and unhealthy. He was vague and irritable, and he constantly complained, mainly about how the Keys were being ruined by overdevelopment. He moved with difficulty, and his chronic cough was getting worse. But he still tried to muster